唱成歌，无需平凡，群生万物本来皆成山，名如其天。
The Destimon, you can now enter new cycle, embark once again on an extraordinary journey to the west. In the new cycle, you will inherit level 10 and okay, so it's basically new game plus. So there you guys have it. Black Myth Wukong beaten. What are my final thoughts on it? Well, amazing game. Some amazing in-game, cinematic sequences, fight animations. The story, you will understand the story, and initially I did not understand the story because I was not familiar with the entire Journey to the West story, because I mean, like a lot of Chinese folks would know, because this is like you know about this during your childhood. I know about it, right? I've heard about it, but I have not actually read the book, or have not seen any of the related movies or any of the media that came around it. So when I first started the game, it was a bit difficult to understand because the events of the game takes place after the original book. So I did a little bit of reading on the side. I started watching some videos, which kind of like explain the story of the original Journey to the West. Once you get to know the story, some of the stuff that you go through this, like you come across this, does indeed begin to make sense, and it is an amazing story. I think the story is, um, it's not a really big, grand scale story. It is a simple, authentic Chinese mythological story, which is very well done. I think the Chinese team, the devs just stayed true to the source material. They use, like, proper casting and all that. It felt very authentic from beginning till end. I just enjoyed it. So right, other than that, so I think what really carries this game is the combat. I don't think I found any satisfying combat, like such satisfying combat. It's just so nice to play, with the dodge mechanic, the transformation mechanics, the staff mechanics, the combat system was kind of like flawless, I would say. Each of the bosses were nice. At no point did it feel boring. At no point did it feel like, me getting to point A to point B was such a cumbersome task, just trying to get through the same amount of enemies. No, all enemies had good variation. There was nice enemies were nicely spaced out, so you were not stuck just running along for so long doing nothing. You were always occupied doing something, fighting some enemy. Each of the bosses were unique. There were bosses from the bosses were all closely packed. You ran into bosses like minor bosses every now and then, secondary bosses also every now and then large bosses like the big bosses and in chapter bosses. So you like the bosses were placed very closely to each other. So in almost like every area, you ran into a boss. The side stuff to do, there was a lot of side stuff, a lot of secrets to discover. Even though it was quite a linear, I would say, kind of like it wasn't like it was like a limited sandbox style game. So you get like pockets of exploration, like which branches out into small areas, and that's about it. It's not like a complete it's not like a complete what I would say, it's like a complete open world. So I think it is a good decision that they did not do a complete open world, uh, given some of the things they did struggle with. So the only negative thing I can find in this game is that they did attempt to make an open world, right? So an open world will definitely take this game to new heights. Although I think the exploration, until you obviously get the cloud. So I guess if you have the somersault cloud, that'll be your main go-to point of travel if it was. So an open world like something like Elden Ring, the setting of Elden Ring in this So an open world would have made the game a lot better, but I don't think it was necessary to make the game better. But it would be an improvement. Um, so the one thing they did, the one thing I did find annoying in this game was that um, you find certain areas of invisible barriers often, right? So you find like, so the entire area is open, right? You feel like you can jump up and go, and all of a sudden you run into an invisible barrier. Now this happens sometimes in areas of combat, and it gets annoying because you think you can dodge roll to the left or right and you'll be fine, but you just accidentally run into an invisible barrier and just stuck there, and now the enemy gets to wall combo you. So that is the only thing I did find annoying from time to time, the invisible barriers. Because if I would say, like, don't do invisible barriers, right? If you cannot go, then just put up a rock surface or something, or just block, or just design in such a way so it makes sense that you cannot go beyond this point. A lot of times I felt like I can explore, but um, this, I'm not talking about chapter 6, right? Chapter 6 was fine because it was like a complete, somewhat like an open world, like a setting with the somersault cloud. You can just explore. So that I will ignore that, the barriers in that, because you can only do so much in an open world type setting, right? But I'm talking about the other levels. Like a lot of times I felt like, especially in combat, like twice or thrice, like 4 times about it, like in combat, it was a bit annoying. Um, but yeah, that was the only negative I could think of. The random invisible barriers which you would not expect to run into. But yeah, other than that, I think everything else was fine. Voice acting, like even the English voice acting was fine. I think I should have played in Chinese. I think it would have made a lot more sense. I think the Chinese voice acting is better, but the English is all right. It does do justice to the script. It's not too bad. You can at least understand everything. The voice actors were quite nice. I think there was this one where they had an Irish voice actor. I think that did not suit the headless guitar dude. That was a bit off. I didn't expect to hear it. Like the Irish accent kind of like didn't suit the guy for some reason. So um, yeah, I mean, other than that, I think, yeah, and the entire game was flawless. I would say this will definitely be a nominee for the game of the year. But will it win game of the year? A lot of people do say this will be the definite game of the year. I'm not sure. I think maybe because of recency bias. This is game of the year material, right? Do not get me wrong. This is game of the year material. It has everything in the makings of the game of the year. But there are so many other good games that came out this year, which do have a chance. I mean, like, this will definitely compete with Final Fantasy Rebirth, right? This will go head to head with Final Fantasy Rebirth. So those will be the two, I think, unless Space Marine somehow sneaks in there. But I see these two as the two main titles that can't remember what other games came out. I forgot. Yeah, but Final Fantasy came beginning of the year. Black Myth Wukong now. Um, yeah, it was awesome play. I this So the next thing is replayability. Does this feel like yeah? I want to continue. I want to enter a new cycle. I want to respect my character, make it improve. It's like Elden Ring. Like, you don't mind playing another like a new game plus or anything. Just yeah. I mean, like, it's fun. Elden Ring, I struggle to do the new game plus because it is such a lengthy game, right? Because of the enormous amount of exploration you need to do. Like, you can, sure, you can skip and go to the end bosses, like the main bosses, the story bosses, and just quickly get through it. But you want to do everything, right? You want to just test out how strong your character gets. So it can be a bit daunting. But Black Myth Wukong, no, you can quickly do another cycle and get it done. The game is not that long. It's not that daunting. So this has a lot of replay value. Elden Ring has replay value. It's just that you need to take up another. It's going to be a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit intimidated first before starting a new game plus. I have started it. I did do halfway through, but I have not streamed it or anything because I've been busy playing games such as this. So this, I will definitely, like, in my free time, just play another cycle. So just, it's such an enjoyable game. So I will not be I will not be uninstalling this anytime soon. So yeah. So our first playthrough ends at 137 deaths. That's I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I think there are people who they're better gamers than me, obviously, and they've done this way better. But I'm proud of myself. It was a hard game. Erlang definitely. I'm a bit sad, like that the Wukong fight did not take as long. But it's the whole doing all the side quests before going for the final story mission type thing. That's that kind of scenario.